You're listening to The Afternoon Show with Richard Freedman on Rusty Mike Radio.
I'm delighted to welcome to Rusty Mike Radio the singer David Broza. Shalom.
Shalom, shalom.
First of all, people in America think that you were born in America, but you weren't. You were actually born here in Israel, in Haifa. Is that correct?
That's right, yeah. I wasn't born in America. I had nothing to do with America, but I love American culture. I love American music, and I've lived there, and I toured there. I've been touring there for 20 years or more, 25 years.
How did you get into the music business here in Israel, first of all?
Well, my friend Jonathan Geffen was doing a show back in 1977 and needed a sideman, and I was given the opportunity to take the place of a great musician who was with him, who had to leave the show, Yitzhak Lepter, Churchill as we know him. And so I took the place, and then he offered to collaborate with me and gave me a poem of his, which became the song Yeh Tov, and the rest is history.
You're very famous, even probably more famous in America than in Israel, with Jews all over the world, I'm saying.
Yeah.
How did you get to America, and how did you get to be a big star in America?
It really starts with the music and the culture and the art of the U.S. I grew up listening to jazz, a lot of John Coltrane and Charlie Parker, and then listening to a lot of folk music, all the way from the Everly Brothers and to Kingston Trio and Bob Dylan and then Joni Mitchell, and it really kind of attracted me and lured me into the States. But I thought everything was New York, and when I got there I realized that everything was happening all over the States rather than New York. New York was where it all, everything ended up there. So I really took on myself to get to know the U.S. and ended up touring there endlessly and collaborating with American poets for like 17 years. And this, and the result of which I have, edited, put out 5 albums there, and I work on a regular basis in the States.
But
really,
do you live in the States? You're home in the States, or are you home here in Israel?
No, I'm home in Israel. I have a home here. My feet are in Tel Aviv, and my heart is in New York.
Okay. Another language that you sing in a lot is Spanish.
Right.
How did that come about?
Well, because when I was a kid, my parents moved to Spain. I was in Madrid for like 6 years, and then that got me exposed to Spain, to its culture. And it was many, many years later that throughout my career that I wanted to come back to Spain. Finally, in the year 2000, I put out my first Spanish album in Spain, and have done 3 albums in Spain since. And I'm fluent in Spanish, as I am in English, as I am in Hebrew. So I want to take advantage of communicating and producing albums and making music in these 3 languages, which allow me to communicate to a much broader audience and try out things in a bigger scope, rather than be limited only to those who listen to Hebrew. Hebrew is perhaps the most curious and challenging language that I know, but it's limited to only to those who speak it. And so I think pop music should be popularized worldwide, and the language shouldn't be a barrier. So I've taken it on myself to sing in the 3 languages I speak.
That brings us on to your new album. It's called Safa Shlishit, 3 languages.
Third language.
Third language. Is that got anything to do with the fact that you speak 3 languages?
Not really. No, absolutely not.
Where's
it's
it
an all
come
Hebrew.
from?
It's an all Hebrew album. It really is something that came out while I was writing. It's a phrase terminology kind of thing that I don't think anybody's ever used it before, but I relate to it more as the inner language that 2 very close people develop upon a relationship. I mean, it can be your best buddy, best friend, it could be your love. And it's one of those, that look in the eye or a word that insinuate something which only the two of you know, and that's the third language.
Okay. What's the future for David Broza?
As George Bush said, today's future looks better than tomorrow. Who knows, man?
Okay.
You ask a question like that, that's the answer you get.
Okay. Is there anything...
More music, you know.
Is there one performer in the world that you would like to perform with that you haven't performed with yet?
Wow. Well, there's always these... oh, God, there's so many. There's such great performers, such great artists in the world. I don't mark any particular artist as a wishful thinking. I'd like to play with all of them, with everybody.
Who are the young singers now that you listen to?
Wow, you caught me now.
Or you don't listen to them?
No, I do. I actually do. Just slips my mind right now. I buy so many new CDs. I just don't even know what I'm listening to most of the time. I just like. Wow. Well, I could say that I like. Rufus Wainwright he's got a very intriguing voice, which I would really be interested in sharing something with him, you know, because he's definitely different. He goes all the way from pop to folk to poetry to opera. I mean, it's as eclectic as can be, and yet very focused, and I really like that. Yeah, I would just sum it up with Rufus right now. There's a bunch of others, you know.
Okay.
There's a lot of good music out there. You know, there's so much going on which is obscure thanks to the internet, that you don't need to be on a label to put out your music. And I just listen to a lot of stuff. I just go through YouTube hours, you know, just flying, cruising by and checking out stuff that I've never heard before. There's one thing, this for example, the Playing for Change project, which brings out a lot of street musicians and puts them out in collaborations with other musicians, and they tour the world. That's a concept that I really love, because it has not only exposes artists that are very, very fringe and unknown, it also does something for communities around the world. And I like always to think of art as a source of philanthropic, you know, organization. I always like to put music next to something very humanitarian, and not just as a self-expression, you know. So these are the kind of music I listen to. Can be very, very, very eclectic and esoteric.
Okay. David Broza, thank you very much.
Thank you.
This is Rusty Mike Radio.
Online now.
www.rustymikeradio.com